Hi, everyone. We'll just wait another minute to let everyone coming in. Nice to see you all. Whoever wants to just, I'll get started in 30 more seconds and we'll get things underway. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our I think it's our third or fourth Zoom session for our Women Power program. Thank you all so much for being part of our Women Power program. It's really lovely to see you all, or to see some of you. Some of you haven't got your videos on, but I just like to start by acknowledging the beautiful land that I live on. I live on Dharawal country. I'm here in the beautiful Illawarra, and I'm kind of sandwiched between the extraordinary escarpment and the Pacific Ocean, and it's a very, very special place to be. And I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and future. And so it's really beautiful being here. And I'd just like you all, whoever wants to say hello in the chat. And if you can, yes, say hello in the chat and just where you're from, and maybe just one word about how you're feeling tonight, or what the place that you're on means to you. Now, I'd like you all to go. Bree, can you pop me back on gallery mode? And just for a moment, if you can, pop your videos on and let's all just say hello to each other. It'd be really nice to take a photo too. Hi, everyone. Pop your videos on just to say hi. You can keep them on, but it's really nice just to see you and say hello, and just, yeah, in the chat, if you want to just say where you're from. So this is the first time we've all connected this year, and I can't believe it's already the end of March. But we've been really busy with our Women Power program. We now have 3,000 women, 2,500 women who are part of Women Power, which is really fantastic. When we first started this program, we wanted to have 10 women and take them on a journey, and we got 500, and now we have 2,500, which is really beautiful. We're going to get that to 3,000, and we're going on this journey over this coming year, and we're going to share the stories. We're going to create a blueprint from women for women about how we get off gas, about how we electrify our homes and our lives, as a really big, a big contribution actually to cutting carbon. Every bit of CO2 that we can prevent from entering the atmosphere means everything. And we're excited about the expert guests we've got on tonight, and I'm going to leave Bree introduce them to you, but they're our partners and we love them, and we thank them for the work that they do to help us all, with the solutions for this. I just want to say thank you to all of you who did our survey. We put our survey out, What Women Think About Climate Change, in January. We got 4,400 respondents, which was incredible considering that the survey took 16 minutes to complete. And so for all of you on the call tonight, if you did the survey, thank you so much. It means a lot to us because it just, we think it's the heartbeat of what's going on in our community. And there was a lot of questions in there on electrification. And there was one question in particular where we asked you if you had done energy efficiency measures or done anything to electrify your homes, to share any of those benefits with us. And 2,391 women shared their stories with us and the benefits. And of course, the biggest one was the cost savings, and which is so important for the issue of cost of living. So I want to thank you all for that. And over the coming weeks, we'll be putting out the report on what we learned, and we'll be sharing lots of information from the survey. So thank you again for those of you who did it. Now, I am going to hand over to Bree, who will introduce our wonderful guests tonight. And any questions, please pop them in the chat, and we will try to get to everyone's questions. We'll have at least 20 minutes at the end of before the end of the session to really try and delve into all the questions. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you, and over to you, Bree.
Amazing. And I just wanted to add from Nat's sort of recap of what we have been doing with Women Power and slowly collecting everyone's stories. One thing that we do really want to do is showcase in depth, and we really want to get into women's homes and be able to tell that story and be able to interview them. And for the it might not be available, it might not be might not be able to get to everybody, but for the people who may be close or in Sydney, we'd love if someone has a story to tell, or if you have you've done something in your home in connection with electrification where you have seen that cost saving that Nat's talking about. We really want to hear those stories. So I'm going to put my email in the chat at the end if you'd love to be one of those women who we kind of have a bit more of an in-depth case study of what you've done in your home and how it's helped you out. But yeah, moving on to our incredible guests who we've invited to share their wisdom about all these things, and they're people who know exactly what the challenges may bring. And one of those people is Sonja from Evitat, who is going to be sharing her story of, how she got into electrification, what sort of problems and kind of issues that she sort of came up with and led her to start Evitat. So Sonja is a dedicated systems thinking design director, and she's really thinking all about human-centric design. So things that make sense to us, things that are easy to navigate. And I feel like there's a lot of really difficult and mumble jumble out there about electrification. So it's nice to see someone really coming with a clear human focused lens. But yeah, Evitat is a platform solution for conscious home improvements, and they really want to educate and empower you as you want to renovate or retrofit your home. So when you use the platform, you can you get all this education along the way, and you get to sort of use the different incredible little elements of their platform to help you out. So, I mean, Sonja is going to describe it much better. So I'll hand over to her to talk us through what her story, or how her story led her to create Evitat, and, really think about how we can transform a whole bunch of these existing homes in Australia that maybe are really drafty or not built well, or need solar, all of these things. But I'll hand over to Sonja now.
Thank you. That was brilliant. Was a great.
Can we just pop it now? Sorry, Sonja, can we pop it now on speaker mode?
Oh yeah, here we go.
Awesome. Yeah, I welcome everyone. I think every single woman tonight actually in this session is really important. And I just want to bring back that lens because it is, of course, about cost savings, but we are also on a bigger mission in the sense actually to really shift the dial and to make impact happen from the small scale of decision making to the big picture. You know, how do we decarbonize actually and provide a future with better homes? And that's exactly I think the lens where we come from. So yes, I'm pretty much like, my background is technology, product design and everything. So we have built a home more than or a good nearly 15 years ago, more than 10 years ago, 15 years ago in Queensland. And I think this whole journey, you know, understanding better actually where it's positioned, the location, the climate and everything. So since we built, we had a couple of typical climate events. In 2017, we had Debbie going through with major damages, and we wanted to build back better. And we found the navigation of that building back better, improving the thermal envelope, making sure that we don't pay so much in future was so difficult, navigating and making decisions which would be comprehensively, you know, perceived as a good decision. And I think all that experience really contributed to what we are currently building. We are an impact startup. And so Bree, just a quick question. Do you want me also to showcase a little bit the platform now? Okay, cool. The main reason for really shifting into a better solution was to make it easier actually to understand what are the options out there, but also giving you a guiding beacon based on needs and aspirations. And we have, I jump in and I will show you a little bit around. So Evitat is basically a digital platform solution for conscious home renovation. And the reason why we have built that, and at the core sits actually a logbook for conscious home renovation, retrofits and improvements. So I will open up my logbook in a second. The reason why we have done this is all your investments you are doing that, for example, improvements in energy efficiency, adding a solar PV system. And solar PV system is very obvious on the roof and can be to some degree identified by a real estate agent whenever you want to maybe sell even the property. But a lot of these improvements are not as visible, and they might not be the typical, you know, resale value and so on. So we have decided to collect that and to give you the chance actually to demonstrate it at any point whenever you need that. So that can be a conversation, for example, with insurance. That can be the conversation with a real estate agent, or even to support you on this journey, because we are building here an ecosystem. So we have here, for example, a marketplace where you can really explore products and all the suppliers onboarded into the Evitat platform. They are all vetted, so they need to meet a minimum of 2 like impact criterias, and that comes with quality and also to understand actually, are they contributing to decarbonization? Are they contributing to a healthy home? And are they actually contributing also within their operational as a company? You know, what are they actually doing to be an active member on that roadmap to decarbonization? So all of that becomes a little bit more tangible, and exactly what Bree mentioned, we wanted to provide a little bit an access point to understand these products. And here, even if you're hovering, you have, for example, a quick overview. What are these benefits, for example? But then you can actually create a logbook. And I will show you the example of my home here in Melbourne. So in this case, I've added, because I'm playing around with many added features, which are actually not at the moment fully installed, but I want to showcase what that means actually. So when you are engaging, for example, with a supplier on the platform, let's say you're installing a hot water heat pump or solar system, that will be automatically added. So you can immediately see how it improved, for example, and the healthy criteria of a home. That comes in particular with improving, for example, ventilation and other aspects. So to keep the indoor air quality really healthy. This is a big topic, in particular when we're looking at making our leaky homes more energy efficient. We are plugging up all these gaps and everything, but we need to be aware. With that comes also like the issue in some cases of moisture control. And this is exactly where we can show you, for example, what certain measures and steps actually mean. And when you onboard into the logbook, you have two pathways, for example, to explore, and you can do them at any point. One is clearly going off gas, all electric, which does an assessment of your home in general, and you can then pass that information on even to, you know, for example, to another person to make that a decision, even if it's a family member and you need to discuss the investment at the dinner table. And it will support you. Or you can even go through goal settings, which supports also a little bit the guidance around, you know, what is relevant actually to you. But it's also an educational piece. So while you're actually onboarding, you can also grasp actually the basics of a sustainable, a more conscious home, and really look at the co-benefits of these decisions. Because if you are improving the healthy component of your home, you are automatically most likely improving energy efficiency and you are decarbonizing. So there are plenty of benefits, and we want to display them and make them actually more accessible. With, for example, even the goal settings, when you have also the opportunity to be matched with certain solutions, and then it becomes a very interesting way to look at this. Sorry, just going back here. You can see, for example, you know, what you have selected, and then it takes you basically to the product categories and matches certain elements, and you can then dive a little bit deeper and again discuss this. So it's a very comprehensive way to look at your renovation options, but really from the point of assessing your home to some degree at the status quo, and then looking at it, what are, for example, electrification solutions, and but also giving you some guidance on insulation and how to make that thermal envelope better performing. So all of this is available, and we have also a community section where you can jump in and ask questions. We have absolute amazing support from very experienced builders, architects, energy assessors, and they are more than happy to give you some guidance as well. So for example, when we go in here, you will see there are some certain questions: energy efficient ovens and or wall lining. We had renovation hub and ringwood. So there's all these different things, even eco toilets. So it comes really from the point of saving the environmental impact, saving costs, and really providing a better solution also to future generations. Yes, that's what we do, and I invite everyone actually to explore the platform. It's completely for free for renovators, for people and women in particular who want to do the difference. So yes, use it, and feel free also to ask any questions. You can even ping me directly through the chat function in community.
Can you, it's amazing. It is so amazing, Sonja. Can you pop the link in the chat? We will also send that around in the newsletter tomorrow, or the next newsletter. So, but that's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonja. And yeah, I feel like definitely when I jumped onto the logbook for the first time, I was like, wow, all the visuals make it look very easy to understand all the different bits. And I think if you go on and play around, as soon as you click, oh, I might do this one little thing, you see how it all changes quite quickly, which is
exactly. You can even play around a little bit. There's, you can really do it on your terms and explore what that gives you. For us, it was really important to find ways not to think always in a linear way, because often enough we had hundreds of interviews with people who wanted to make a different and a more conscious decision. And I think there's so many different stories behind it and angles, and that's exactly what we offer. We have ways to look at it, ways to connect maybe to professionals to get further guidance and advice, or even to do a full renovation. Like I said, there's plenty of options also for electrification. And we are also going to announce some of really interesting partnerships to make it even easier, for example, with less headaches around upfront costs, for example, with solar and batteries. But that's only one thing we really want to have on board as well. But that's coming in the next weeks and months. So feel free to explore until then.
amazing. Thanks, Sonja. And
Thank you.
one of the solutions or things that you might be thinking about is solar, of course, if you don't have it already, as I know that, we have a big uptake of solar in Australia, which is amazing. But we are blessed to have on the call Nigel, who has been working in solar energy for 32 years. So definitely seen the whole evolution and change, and seen, I guess, a lot of Australians take up solar. He's been with Solar Analytics for 7 years after working with a whole bunch of multinationals and starting his own company, as well as the world famous Rainbow Power company. And so he's sent over a couple of proud achievements, raising 3 kids, recently becoming a double granddad, but also followed closely by being inducted to the Solar Hall of Fame. So we're very excited to have Nigel on the call as well to share with us the benefits of having solar and how women can get in and get it if you don't have it.
Thanks, Bree. And good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day or your evening to come and to listen in. Thanks to you, Sonja. I'm renovating a house in a year or two, so I was excited to jump onto your platform and have a look around. Thanks for putting all those great tips up there. That's going to be fantastic. I'm going to skim through this, and I'll warn you right now that I think they've only allocated me 10 or 15 minutes. I can talk for days on this topic and absolutely love it. So I'll try and stick to the time. I've got to get my screen. There we go. There's a quick introduction. So I always like to start my story with how did I get into solar? And it was almost 40 years ago. In fact, I was a young man traveling Europe in a combi van with my girlfriend, and we walked into a fruit stall actually in Germany, and said, we want to buy some supplies, as you do. It was Europe on $10 a day then, not anymore, but was back then. And they said, well, we've got all these things, and there was a radioactive symbol on some tomatoes. And I said, what is this? And we eventually found someone who could speak English, and they said, well, you know, Chernobyl blew up. And so there's been this big cloud of radioactive pollution that's traveled across all of Europe, and these tomatoes may have been radiated. So they're on special. They're very cheap, but, you know, there's a potential risk. And that was the point in time for me when I thought about the implications of turning on a light switch for the first time. My parents had always paid for energy. I'd never thought about it. It was cheap, it was easy, it was accessible. And so 40 years ago, my journey into understanding the implications of energy began because of a radioactive tomato. We bought the expensive ones for what it's worth. Over the last 30 odd years that I've been in solar, I've seen obviously the industry change from, you know, the domain of hippies when it first started out, doing very, very small systems and, you know, escaping the world into the hills of Nimbin, to now today becoming absolutely a mainstream industry. And I'll touch briefly on that. I've been lucky enough to be involved in lots of different technology companies, from making solar panels to getting involved in electric vehicles and various other things. And so I watched this amazing technological revolution that's happened. My personal passion is motorcycling, and I discovered electric motorcycles almost 10 years ago. There's a photo there of my favorite toy, which is an electric Harley Davidson, believe it or not. And it's my third electric motorbike. I've been fully electric for 10 years now. And, you know, getting to enjoy your passion without damaging the environment along the way or making noise along the way is just a dream come true that I never dreamed when I started out that would be possible. I'm also do a lot of podcasts. So there's some podcasts that you can check out there if you're interested. So where have we got to? I could kind of talk for hours about all the progressions and the stages and everything else, but, you know, where have we got to today? What's possible? And you know, it's really hard to distill it down, but this image is a kind of a snapshot of all the different bits of tech that you can throw into a home now. Now, of course, there's a lot more that you need to do to tackle the issue of a holistic all-electric home that's good for the environment and is not wasting energy. And, you know, Sonja's website has got some great leads that you can follow down there. But in terms of the technology and in terms of what you can do in the home, this is a little map for you. And this is real. You can do this today. And in fact, even as recent as Friday, I witnessed the launch of a new product that's now become available in Australia that kind of seamlessly blends all this together. And believe it or not, is overlaid with Chat GPT, so that you can just talk to an app in your phone and tell your home what you want it to do to manage your energy better, to get the best deal on rates, or to optimize charging for your electric vehicle, or to even use your electric vehicle to charge the home. So all of that technology is now coalescing together into what is ubiquitously called a smart home. There's a lot of bits and pieces that can make up a system like that, and a lot of different technologies that you can use to get benefits. I won't dive into them too deep, but that kind of gives you a picture of all the tech that's available these days. Just to step back a moment, you know, a common question I get, and I do a lot on socials, is, you know, does it really make sense? In fact, I was having an argument with, I think it was a robot. I don't think it was a real person, but I was having an argument on socials last night with someone claiming that solar didn't make sense. And, you know, I always lean heavily on the fact that more than 3 million people in Australia have made the decision and said, well, actually, it does make sense. I'm just going to get on and do it despite what anyone says. So, you know, we are an incredible place in the world, 3 million solar owners, you know, 300,000 plus every year going on, a lot of commercial going on as well. Batteries slowly but surely being added to the mix. There's some stats there on typical prices and sizes and everything else. And I really actually love to tell the story that it's not wealthy people who buy solar predominantly. It's actually people who are struggling with power bills, people who want to reduce their cost of living, want to have a good impact on the environment. They're the people who are driving solar. And in fact, I saw a statistic yesterday that said that the majority of electric vehicle sales are now in out of Western Sydney and not wealthy areas. It is people who need to save money and want to do something about the environment, who are now doing exactly the same thing as those 3 million solar owners. They're making the switch to electric vehicles now as well. I'm going to just mention very briefly that there was a lot going on in that image that I showed previously, and there is a lot of complexity in solar these days. They're not simple systems. And so this is where technology can really help, because by using artificial intelligence, by blending technologies together and using amazing software, you can actually simplify what has become a pretty complex operating environment between heat pumps and solar panels and inverters and batteries and electric vehicles and, everything else that you can do. It is a complex electronic world to get all these things working beautifully and seamlessly together and optimizing their performance for you. But that's where software is actually really, really helping us. So some golden rules. I always try to keep this as simple as I can and go, what are the golden rules? In 32 years, for goodness sake, I must have seen some things done well and some things done badly. What are the lessons I've learned along the way? And here they are. First and foremost, and the same debate that I was having online today is that, a solar system will pay for itself in about 5 years. It's one of the best ways that you can invest your money. There's you wanted to just purely look at it in financial terms, it's just a wonderful, wonderful investment, let alone all the other benefits. I do also warn everyone that, our industry becoming mainstream has been great because, we've got lots of competition and we've got lots of great providers out there and we've got all those other things. But unfortunately, like every industry, that attracts sharks and it attracts people you've got to be careful of, and businesses that aren't always great. So caveat emptor, be aware. And I'll give you some tips on how to shop around and how to get the balance right between price and quality. Batteries are something that everyone asks about these days. Solar is where all the big savings are. Reducing the amount of energy you buy is going to reduce your emissions, and it's going to save you the biggest amount of energy. Batteries are rapidly starting to have an impact and can really make a big difference, and are a terrific technology to use. It's still a relatively expensive addition to a solar system, but lots of people are doing it. So I just want to highlight that batteries are not where the big savings are, it's where solar is. I also, point 5, data monitoring and automation and all the software that we've got available to us makes a huge difference in simplifying all this complexity. So look for a good solution there. Golden rule number 6 is one of the best ones. Don't put a small system on and think you might upgrade it in a few years. Just get on with it. Do the bigger system you can now. Fill your roof as much as you can and buy. And I don't sell solar, so I'm not even saying that because I'm going to get it some reward. It just makes sense. Just put as much on as you can, because you're going to get rid of gas if you've got gas today at some point. You're going to add an electric vehicle at some point in the future. You're going to do more electrification in your home because it is cheap and it is clean. And the more solar you have, the more of that you can run. So put as much solar as you can. And lastly, I just dropped this one in at the bottom. You can do this as a renter too. I'm a renter. And I've been in 3 rental properties over the last 10 or 15 years and managed to, with a bit of cajoling, talk my landlords into adding solar on 2 of the 3 properties. I'm not quite there yet with his current landlord, but I'm close. So it is possible as a renter too. My Energy Efficient Electric Home on Facebook is a great resource for loads and loads of information. I saw this graph and pinched it off there today. Great stuff from Rewiring Australia that really just highlights everything I've said, that, adding an EV, getting off gas, using solar is going to save you thousands of dollars a year. And there are millions of people out there who've already twigged to this simple fact. So, okay, you've got great information from Sonja on how to tweak all these other things around your home and where to find some suppliers and get some materials. How do you choose a solar company? How do you actually go on and get online? You're going to find thousands of companies. How do you choose the right one? Here are my top, 10 tips for you. There's a lot in there and there's some links at the back. There is a couple that I'll highlight. Number one is Your Energy Answers is a great new website that's turned up over the last few years. A very knowledgeable guy behind it. He has an Ask a Solar Guru sort of interactive section on his website. You might recognize the guru. Get on there. And what that's designed for is for anyone to come on there and say, hey, Solar Guru, you know, with your experience, how do I solve this problem? What about this issue? How do I tackle this when it comes to buying solar? So look up Solar Guru and Your Energy Answers. And the other one that I would highlight out of this whole set is there is a program called the NETCC, the New Energy Technology something. Essentially, it is a code of conduct for solar retailers. Now, it's important to understand you're going to get an installer who's going to come and physically attach the stuff, but you're actually buying the equipment from a solar retailer, from a retail company. And it's the agreement that you have with them and the behavior of that company in terms of a supplier that where the contractual arrangement lies. So buying from someone who is a NETCC approved retailer gives you A, some protection, and B, it means they've signed up to a voluntary code of conduct. So I really strongly recommend that to everyone. Local companies with lots of experience are always fabulous. So hunt around. Don't use door knockers. Don't take unsolicited offers. There's plenty of other opportunities out there. And always insist on energy monitoring. I'm going to explain why. Oh, there we are. What energy monitoring? So if you're going to add solar or batteries or EVs or anything else in your home, the starting point to everything is data. You know, when am I using energy? How much energy am I using? What's using that energy? What's the relationship between when I use energy and when my solar is being generated? Can I move some loads around to save more or to reduce my emissions? And the key to all of that is good monitoring. That's the business I'm in at Solar Analytics, of course. So I would say that, but there are lots of other companies that also provide good monitoring solutions. Don't accept a simple monitoring solution that just monitors the solar production. That doesn't help you. You need to understand the relationship between the energy you buy and sell and produce. And of course, if there's batteries or anything else, you need to see that too. The other great thing about a terrific monitoring solution, it provides automation benefits. So these days you can automate a lot of these functions. You can find out who the best retail deals available from using an algorithm these days. The latest tech I saw uses AI to actually tell the system how to behave. You can get alerts if something goes wrong. Things don't go wrong often, but they do sometimes. So you want a system that's going to let you know if something's gone wrong. With so many devices in the home, you also want the ability to interact with multiple devices and potentially control those devices as well. So there's a lot of difference between, yes, we've got a solar monitoring app and a really, really good monitoring system that can talk to lots of different solutions. I'm using up lots of time. I told you I could. Here's a bunch of links to all sorts of different things. We've got a solar maximizer tool. That's a free tool that's available. And lucky you guys, with only 2 days to go, we're giving away $2,000 for people just to try out our tool. So there's an opportunity to win a prize randomly selected just for trying out our tool. So if you want to assess, should I add more solar and how much could I save? Should I add more solar and how much would that save me? Should I add a battery? Should I add a heat pump? The solar maximizer tool is a wonderful, wonderful tool, and you can win a prize just for using it. Solar Quotes, wonderful, wonderful, huge resource, very trustworthy place to get quotes and also loads and loads of information. The NETCC link is there for approved retailers. Your Energy Answers is there. And if you're a reader or you would like a digital book, the Good Solar Guide, also written by Finn Peacock from Solar Quotes, is the most comprehensive book you'll ever find on how to choose a solar system and all the sort of nitty-gritty behind it. So if you really want to get into it, grab an online version of the Good Solar Guide. I think that's me. I hope that's helpful. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Nigel. So we did have a question in the chat. Hang on 2 seconds. One of the questions was, what are the pros and cons of microinverters?
So that's a really good question. Microinverters essentially convert the energy on a solar panel from DC to AC right at the solar panels. So they're kind of individual inverters rather than connecting all your inverters together and having one big inverter down at the switchboard. There are two main pros I would talk about when it comes to microinverters. One is safety, because you're dealing with AC on the roof instead of high voltage DC. That's a bit safer. I always say, look, when my mum and dad said, what should we put on the roof? I said, get some microinverters. It's safer. I want you to be as safe as you possibly can. So I really like the safety angle. They also have a huge benefit in shaded scenarios, where microinverters can optimize the energy in shaded situations. So they can also squeeze a little bit more out of individual solar panels. The gap is not so big these days, but they're the best of the best if you can afford to spend a little bit extra on micros, and I really like them for safety.
Nigel, I just want to jump in. That was amazing. Both of you were just so amazing tonight. Thank you so much for sharing all that, like really tangible and helpful information. I've got a quick question about batteries. Do you think we should, I mean, I was kind of hearing it with what you were saying was just, load your roof with as much solar as you can. But do you think we should hold off on the battery, or should we get the battery now, wait till it's cheaper? Like, what do you think?
How long do you want to keep paying power bills is the answer, I guess, now.
Yeah.
It's like computers, it's like phones. You can keep waiting. There will be something better. It'll get cheaper. I've witnessed that for 32 years. So, how long do you want to keep paying high power bills? With respect to batteries, there is a lot of technology that is coming out now that is really, really good, and the prices have come down quite a bit. So, if you can afford to add batteries now, it's great for society because we take more load off the grid. It's great because it allows you to use more of that solar energy at night. It's great to be able to, I discharge my batteries into my motorcycle at night. So I generate energy during the day. If I'm not here, I store it in my batteries, and then I shove it over into my battery in my electric bike, and then I ride to work the next day based on that storage. I mean, it's bewilderingly cool. So if you can afford to make the investment now, make the investment. Like I say, it'll always get better, it'll always get cheaper. If you can afford it, do it now. Make sure you focus your investment on the solar though.
Yeah. So we had a few stories happening in the chat as well. Sonja said, I had a door knocker selling solar who gave me a quote, but they were very pushy and I felt uncomfortable. So I found Solar Quotes Guide online. It was excellent. Outlined the costs you could pay. The different brands, inverters, panels, and described what the quality was like for each price level. So big thumbs up for Solar Quotes. Does anyone have any other questions? I think you did answer one of mine, which was, what is the general payback kind of period for solar? But I think you said about 5 years, was it?
4 to 5 years typically. It'll vary depending on the situation and the technology and various other things, but typically 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Oh, we also had another question from Alison who said about sort of new tech. I heard recently that new solar panels can use street light or other light sources at night to provide energy. Do you know anything about this? Is this the case?
Yeah. Look, the short answer is a solar panel produces energy under light, and it uses it produces more energy under the right kind of wavelengths of light. They're designed for sunlight, not artificial light. So although a solar panel will produce some energy under artificial light, it's virtually nothing. It's very, very minimal. Likewise with moonlight. I've seen solar panels generate some energy under moonlight, but it is a tiny, tiny amount of energy. So the short answer is whoever told you that is stringing you along. It's not a meaningful amount of energy. They're called solar panels for a reason. They need the sun.
And a question. I
was going to say, I've got a quick question for Sonja. I was just wanting to know, like, before you were explaining, that we need healthy houses. I just wondered, can you just share, what's a healthy house to you?
Yeah, I think again, It's a learning journey. I would probably say today it is a lot around controlling actually, for example, moisture in your home, in particular if you're building or if you're renovating and retrofitting for energy efficiency. There's a lot to consider. I think I scratched on this, plugging up, our leaky homes creates actually also on the flip side, things we might not have considered, like, for example, mold buildup, because we do actually emit, like every single person emits up to 6-liter waters every single day, and in particular in bedrooms. And so there's a lot to consider with becoming more energy efficient. How do we control that? And how do we keep actually a healthy indoor environment? So it comes back actually to the questions even around material choices. What is vapor permeable? What is a breathable material? So it's a really big topic to consider, or even proper mechanical ventilation. And then we go straight actually also into, when you're looking at the broader thing and the angle of electrification, a healthy home contributes also in the broader sense, actually, even to aspects of, decarbonization. It is part of our society. Every single home is delivering a purpose. So think of that as a piece, not just for you for the moment. Like if you're improving your home, that's also a piece, hopefully, for future generations, and maybe your own family continuing living in that, or you are selling it, but you're really adding something of value to it. And at the moment, that is not the case. In most of the cases, we are building, although we are building big, we are building actually fairly quick, cheap. The material consideration is not great. And we are left as homeowners often enough to manage all these upcoming issues. Like mold is a huge problem across the like even New South Wales and parts of Queensland because of the moisture buildup. Again, I think our pathway is definitely electrification. And when we consider certain elements of electrification, it is actually to become more energy efficient. And there's a very simple concept, when you are looking at energy efficiency, to come from the performance of your building. So how long can it actually retain a nice indoor air temperature, a comfortable air temperature? So let's maybe frame also electrification around the ability actually to deliver on comfort, because a comfortable indoor air temperature is the core piece we should aim for. And then we can actually look at the entire building and make these decisions. Yes, like we are, for example, also using solar analytics. We have a solar PV system. Yeah, and it's a great piece of monitoring and tracking even the health of the system, because it is like we are living here down in Victoria, whereas the house is in Queensland. So there it is actually how technology makes it far more easier. And I think with that comes also, like when we build back better, we wanted to improve actually the performance of the home so that we don't need to turn on all day long the air conditioner, that we can actually use natural cross ventilation in a better way. And that means also, when you close off, for example, the temperature you have created inside retains for longer, and we don't need to turn the air condition on. Only, when it starts to maybe heat up too much and so on. So retrofitting is a real journey of educating yourself, but also understanding where's your house located, you know, what's the climate around, and taking all these considerations into account. With solar, for example, there's a huge difference if you are considering putting solar on your roof in Queensland versus Victoria. A system, you know, 7 to 8, I think system will be totally sufficient maybe in Queensland, but it won't be as sufficient maybe in Victoria. And then again, I think what you scratched on was also your own lifestyle. If you are not able to work from home during the day, if you can't use the directly produced solar energy during these top times actually during the solar gains, then you are still left actually to draw from the grid in the most of the cases.
Yeah.
So that, just a second, and that's exactly where we need to understand a little bit more how to make decisions, and then to make the right decisions and prioritize. Do I do insulation first, or do I do actually solar PV system first? Yeah. So that's exactly, I think, where I'm coming from.
Yes, and I think that you know, you would, like, before we hopped on the Zoom, you were saying to me that that's a really big thing, is, you know, just trying to work out the you know, what we prioritize first, because we can't do everything all at once. And so thank you so much. There is one quick question I did want to ask Nigel, and from Vicky. Can you see that question, Nigel? Would a 9.9 kilowatt solar system with supporting battery provide enough power to charge an electric vehicle? Quick answer.
Answer, it's probably getting close, but you might need a little bit more. It depends on the consumption in the home. If you're a very low energy home, yes, and it's a small electric car. If it's a big electric car and you're doing lots of Ks and you've got high consumption in the home, you probably need some more.
Okay. Look,
There's actually one more question, Nat. There's one from Kath there, just a quick one. I heard that there may be solar panels coming that handle shade. Have you heard of this? That's the last question.
Yeah, quick answer. Virtually all solar panels can handle shade. There's no problem with most of the technologies. Most of the inverters, whether they're micro inverters or string inverters, will also optimize your performance so that you can get the most out of the system. Micro inverters are the best in shaded environments. Try not to put your solar panels in the shade.
Yeah, that's right. We've almost, well, we've run out of time. We've gone over time. I'm going to say two quick things, then I'm going to hand it over to Bree to finish off. But I just want to thank you all for being on this call. This was so informative. Thank you to our wonderful experts. And we'll get the recording out to everybody. And I have two announcements that I want to say. So 1 million women, we turned 15 this year. It's been a huge 15-year journey. We have literally engaged tens of millions of women over these last 15 years. We're celebrating with a big event on the 29th of June. I want you to put it in your diaries if you are in Sydney, or you can get here. It's at Carriageworks. We've got John Butler playing for us. We've got Wendy Matthews. We've got Emily Waramara. It's going to be amazing, but there's going to be a big theme on electrification. And hopefully both of these wonderful partners will be there, but we'll have a whole electrification section. So you'll hear more about that. Put it in your diaries. And then the last thing I'm going to say is just... yes, we are going to the Great Barrier Reef. This is completely out of left field, but I just wanted to mention it, that a very small group of us, it's a very special week that we are going to the Great Barrier Reef to at the end of August to really see what's at stake. We're going to canoe and, 10 kilometers a day. And I just wanted to put it out there because we're looking for, another 4 or 5 women to come with us, to come with me, to have beautiful conversations. And it's a fundraising journey. And Yes, so if you're interested to come on that with me, please send me a message and I'll give you all the information on it. So thank you very much. Thank you for being part of our Women Power program. Thank you, experts. Over to you, Bree.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say as well. I'm going to put my email in the chat as well. So if anyone is really interested in sort of wanting to tell their story, wanting us to come into your home and, you know, be able to just show people how, you know, even if you did one thing or if you tried something and it didn't really work, we want to really be able to show all these stories and, you know, even the incredible things that you've been sharing in the chat about situations with solar or situations where you tried to, you know, install something or something successful, you know, you've saved all this money. We really would love to share these stories with other women who are looking for this information. So I'll, put my email in the chat as well, and you'll hear from us obviously too via email, but we are keen to highlight a few different people in Women Power who want to, show off their story a little bit more in depth than just being in the cohort, which is amazing in general. And we're so thankful that you've shown up to hear from these incredible guests. I'll just thank them again. And that's everything. Oh, you're muted now.
Just pop on your videos and we'll just all wave goodbye. And I'll take a photo. Yes, videos. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. We love doing these events and you're all very special. Okay. Take care. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thanks, Nigel. Thanks, Sonja.
Thank you. See you all.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Yes. Where's Vicky? Is Vicky still there? Vicky, there you are. That's why
I am.
That's why I said it, Vicky. I knew you were interested, so I thought I would just say it again tonight because you must come with us. We'd love it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about 12 Ks a day. Like
Well,
I don't kayak, so
me
I
neither.
row.
I
Right,
don't
okay.
row. I don't kayak. I don't do anything. But well, that's not true. But
Right.
but just Bree and Jem. That's why I mentioned it just at the end because I knew Vicky was thinking
Right.
of something, so I thought I would just.
Honestly, nothing to worry about if you're already rowing. And I spoke to Lauren at Inspired, and they actually do have somebody as well who's there to help with both the fundraising and the training element of it as well. So they're there to support any training, and the guides that actually take you on the trip do keep an eye on the group and